Well, good morning, Sir Cam.
Good morning, Sir Mitch.
Wow, we've both been knighted.
How art thou, fellow knight of podcast land?
I'm doing all right.
That landed about as good as I think it did, which is
Yeah,
to say,
pretty terrible.
yeah, crash and burn.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, what's up?
So we it's been a little bit since we recorded. So we had to take our last recording session off because of a family thing for you.
Yeah, last minute family travel emergency stuff. So
I was
it's
trying
all
to
good.
stop short of calling it an emergency, but it's
Well,
that's something that you could like not do. So
yeah, it's something that had to happen. So got it taken care of, and we are back. So
we are back. And I did really struggle with whether or not to just at least record a little 5 minutes something just to say, hey, we didn't die or anything. Just, stick around. We'll have another episode coming up in a little bit. And then I got lazy and decided not to do it.
I was secretly hoping you would have recorded yourself reading like a couple of haikus and just let that be the episode.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Maybe some limericks.
Limericks.
You strike me more like a limerick guy than a haiku guy, Mitch. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely not a haiku guy. But at any rate, have a good Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, I went and hung out with a family here in Illinois that I've essentially become like, the adopted son. Even though I think I'm closer in age to the parents than I am to the kids. Their oldest is 23 or 24.
Mm-hmm.
And the youngest just turned 13. And I think the mom and dad are like in their, I think they're like 46, 47-ish. So yeah, I'm definitely, if I'm not closer to the parents, it's like a dead split between them and their oldest. So
yeah,
I occupy this weird space, but they're very kind and very fun. So they have, I'm one of the strays they have picked up in these past few years. So I got to spend the day with them and, eat lots of good food and kick their butts in some games. It was good.
Yeah. Always good to kick some butts.
Mm-hmm.
So, my Thanksgiving was different.
Oh yeah. Hey Mitch, how was your Thanksgiving? Sorry.
Oh no, I wasn't expecting that you were going to ask. But,
my reputation precedes me.
So the story really has a lot to do with my parents. So I felt terrible because my parents, they go down to Tennessee to be with my sister and brother-in-law every year for Thanksgiving. And so they drove down last Monday and they got about 3/4 of the way down, probably somewhere about Kentucky-ish. And they got a call from my sister saying that my brother-in-law had been exposed to COVID rather significantly last week. And so they took a test. He came back negative. They weren't sure. It was still pretty short notice within the incubation period. And so they were a little bit concerned about that. And my dad's got Parkinson's. So there was some concerns health-wise for him and having
absolutely
him to that. And so my parents, after driving 12 hours down there, my sister put him up in a hotel. My sister does a lot of traveling, so she has points with the Hilton. So she used some points to put my folks up. And they weren't sure what they were going to do at that point. And come to find out, like that Tuesday morning, my mom just finally made the call. She talked to some people, she got some advice, and they just decided to come home. And so they turned around and drove 6 hours back on Tuesday, just split the drive up. And then Wednesday, they drove the rest of the way. My mom was really concerned about driving through Chicago. So she wanted to like take it easy coming through Chicago on the way back. But yeah, so that really sucked. Three days of driving pretty much. And basically it was the long, my mom puts it this way. It's the longest delivery I've ever made. She took some stuff down to my sister. So
it's funny.
But yeah,
man, yeah, that's no fun.
So Not that I wouldn't have done it anyway, but I made the decision that, my wife and I had to go spend Christmas with my Thanksgiving with my folks, because it just seemed like the right thing to do, because they shouldn't be alone for Thanksgiving after all the plans and how terrible the week was and everything. So we went and spent Thanksgiving with them. So yeah, it was good. We had fun, mm-hmm. I was going to joke that it was under the shadow of the fact that Jay really wanted to spend the week with my sister, but that's not.
I was not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. So thank you for doing so.
Right. So, so you mentioned a little bit about Timery. Did you want to tell us a little bit about you'd switched to Timery recently for time tracking?
No, so I've been using Timery since it came out, but I just recently was reminded that they have a really, really nice app for the Mac. I was like, oh my gosh. Usually the stuff that I want to track is when I'm working on my Mac, when I'm doing my photo editing or video editing or podcast editing or recording or prepping for Bible study, like all the things that are like labor intensive that I genuinely want to track. I always forget to, because once I'm on my Mac and I'm working, I get in the zone and my phone is out of sight, out of mind, and so now that I've been reminded that Timery is on the Mac and that it has a really, really awesome menu bar mini app, I've been using it like at 95% of the things that I want to record, I'm remembering, and that 5% will come as I just get in the habit of it. It's fully featured, and the menu bar can show your timer, like what project you're working on, how long you've been doing it. You can add the description, you can add the tag, you can have as much information up there as you want. So just at a glance, I can see, all right, we've been, on this call for 12 minutes since I started the timer. But you can stop it. You can edit the parameters from the menu bar. You can start a new entry. You can view all your saved entries, your saved timers, your recent ones. You can show the app, like all from the little menu bar item. And then the app is, like I said, it's fully featured. So you can add projects, you can remove projects, you can view your reports, your overviews of the week and all of that sort of stuff. And if you're part of the Timery Club, the annual subscription, you just restore your purchase and you get all of the plus features that you have on the iPad and iPhone versions. And because Shortcuts is on Mac with Monterey, you can use all of the Timery shortcuts that you may or may not have already built over the past few years on your Mac as well. So having that utility not stuck in my phone anymore, but being able to have it in eyesight on the menu bar on the machine that I do all of my, work on is a huge win for me. And not just me, lots of other people. I just had completely forgotten that they came out with a Mac app a while ago. So I'm late to the party on this one for sure. But man, I'm glad that Mike Hurley reminded me that this was on the Mac and worth checking out.
Yeah, I am trying to get logged into it because I use Timery as well. And because I just downloaded it and I don't know, I got to log into it and I give up. All right. But yeah, I've used Timery for a long time. And as far as like working with Toggl in general, like Toggl isn't the best app on the Mac. It's actually not a very good app on the Mac.
Oh, their service is what's good. Their applications across the board are not ideal.
Yeah. So Timery really has a lot of nice features in it and stuff like that. I'm still using Timular a little bit for tracking, and that's just because I've got this cool little piece of hardware here that I can flip to whatever it is that I'm doing at the time.
Have you watched Foundation yet?
Yes.
Okay, so that thing that you have for your time reminds me of I forget what it's called, the thing that Harry Seldon uses to like do all of his crazy psychohistory.
Yeah,
it's such a good show, but that's another discussion.
Have you watched the whole season yet?
Yeah, it's
very good.
It's real good.
I need a lot more preparation to actually do a decent show on it. So
But we should talk about it now that we both know that we really enjoyed it. I'm 100% down to do a Foundation episode.
have you been talking? Have you been listening to the podcast?
No, but I feel like that's going to be my off season. Like, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait like a couple months and then I'm going to rewatch it, but I'm going to listen to the podcast while I rewatch it.
Yeah.
Because I know going back and rewatching it, there's going to be so much that I'll pick up on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much, like when you listen to the podcast, there's so much stuff that is really subtle that they do throughout the season that they talk about on the podcast, but it's not something that I would have noticed otherwise.
Well, and I haven't read the books either, so I guarantee you, if I read the books and then watch it again, I will pick up on.
I'm going to just be honest with you. I don't think you really need to read the books for this, because the books lay a foundation. They lay the framework for the show, but the events of the show have very little to actually do with what's in the books. Like it's very different. So
maybe I want to have both versions, man.
You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, if you think it's going to add a ton to the show, it probably won't.
So the show isn't as close a 1-to-1 take as like Game of Thrones was, or the Lord of the Rings movies were.
A lot of it has to do with the fact that it really couldn't be. The books are so much more abstract that it's just really hard for them to tell the story that's in the book, because it's the series is over 1,000 years and it's such a huge sprawling story that it would be almost impossible for them to do in a TV series. So, and a lot of the stuff that's in the TV series is not in the books. So the genetic dynasty and stuff like that is not.
That's not in the books. That's like the key factor to the whole TV show.
No, 100%.
And it's not in the.
Yeah. So
this is definitely based on the series, not a representation of the series. Okay.
And I mean,
interesting.
That's just one example. There's other examples of things that
I know, but that is a foundational piece of the storyline is the genetic dynasty. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, let's put a pin in this, put it in the parking lot. We'll come back to it another time. We'll circle back. I'll ping you about it. Okay.
Whatever you want to do. So in the interim, I have gotten my my Apple Watch. I don't know if we've talked about this on the show at all since I got it, but I don't think we have since you got it. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. Like this watch is, you could feel that it's bigger. I'm really digging the always on display. I didn't have that before, and I didn't realize how much I was missing without it. So that's been really nice. But I take it for granted. Yeah. Having the Nike Plus version, like the watch face that I love the most is the Nike Hybrid watch face. So I'm really digging that. Trying to think of anything. The Midnight. So there was a little talk about that color Midnight and whether or not it was like a true black, or if it like the product shots make it look like there's a little bit of blue to it. I will tell you that most of the time it looks black, like it's dark black. But if you really look close and you compare the edge to the black of the screen, it does have a ever so slightly blue tint to it. It so there is like a blue in it, and you do get that a little bit in certain light. But the digital crown is black too, so it doesn't match the case perfectly. But you only notice that in very, very specific lighting situations when there's a lot of blue in the light. You can kind of see it. But otherwise, if you're not looking at it real carefully, you don't notice it at all. So, but yeah, I'm super happy with it. I'm liking this watch quite a bit. So now I was just looking at my watch, which is space gray. Mm-hmm. And now I'm noticing how much lighter it is than the black screen. So thanks for breaking that for me. I appreciate it. That's all right, man. The Series 7 is available on apple.com.
Yeah, and I have a Series 6 that I will not replace
Yeah.
for a very long time. I mean, I'm the one that rode the Series Zero until the battery swole and popped the screen off. So
You are that guy.
yeah, I will wear this one until it dies.
So I just wanted to follow up on that because it was
Yeah. Well, I know that you had to wait much longer than I think you had anticipated and or were prepared to wait. So
Did we talk about the Sleep Number bed at all? Did I mention that to you at all?
No.
So here, my wife and I were looking into getting a new bed. There's been some things that we've been trying to get in place before we start getting kids in the house in the next year, because we know that our finances are going to probably be a little strapped, and we've been sleeping on this bed for 20 years now. So it's time to get a new bed. But so we started doing a lot of research on the beds, and I should say I started doing a lot of research on the beds, and I came around to just the Sleep Number bed just seemed like an obvious choice for what we wanted. So we ordered one off the website without really doing a whole lot of research on it. Or I did the research, but we didn't actually lay on the bed or do anything like that. So they came to deliver late in October, and I got a queen because I figured, I don't want to spend the farm on this bed. So I was trying to find a good price on it and stuff like that. And I did. They got the queen here and they couldn't get it up the stairs. The metal frame was too big to get into the door and up around and take it up the stairs to go into our bedroom.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, totally bummed about that. But in a sheer stroke of irony, my wife and I had talked about getting a king size, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the king size comes in 2 pieces, so we can get the king size up there, but we can't get the queen up there." Like, okay, well, let's cancel it for now. We'll think about it, figure it out. And a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I just decided to go to the Sleep Number store and check things out. I almost fell asleep laying in one of the beds there. The saleswoman's talking to us, and I'm laying in the bed, and I was like, oh.
And did you get the one where they individually can no, that's the Tempur-Pedic. I'm thinking where you can do all the shapes.
We got the partial split mattress, so the head is split and it sits up. The bottom will raise the feet, but we have to agree on raising.
Seems like a good compromise.
Yeah, but it is a smart bed, which I'm interested to see how that's going to play into things. But it doesn't do a lot of weird, crazy stuff, but it does do sleep tracking and stuff like that. So I think that'll be interesting.
And I'm assuming that means you have an app on your phone you can control and track all that stuff with.
Yeah. The Sleep Number beds now, they're all smart beds, and the sleep tracking and all that kind of stuff, you actually control everything on your phone now. You can get little remotes to control the bed, but they don't sell those to you automatically. You have to purchase those separately.
Does it integrate with Siri or shortcuts?
That's what I'm curious to see. At this point, I'm going to say probably
because,
but
I can think of a couple of funny things to tell Siri about the bed.
Yeah. Well, there is a funny little thing that she was showing us that if one of us were to start snoring, we can set up a preset in the app that's called Partner Snore, and you tap the button and it automatically lifts their side of the bed up a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good. So good.
Neither one of us snores real bad, but every once in a while, especially when I'm not feeling well and I'm all stuffy and stuff, I'll snore a little bit. But yeah, my wife said something to me totally emasculating the other day. She's like, "Yeah, you were snoring just enough to be cute." That's a little
didn't realize that was a thing, but okay.
Yeah. I love my wife. She's fun.
Good. So, I'm glad that you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing.
All right. Well, we didn't have a lot to talk about this week, oddly, being that we haven't talked in a month. So But I thought what we do this morning is go back to Pod Decks and have some fun answering some questions. So you ready for this?
Affirmative.
Okay. So, by the way, we should mention that if Cam is sounding a little bit different today, he's actually are you in an Airbnb?
Yeah.
In Chicago right now. So
I have my little tiny Rode NT USB mini microphone because it fits in my hand and still sounds half decent, but not nearly as good as my Shure SM7B back at home, but traveling. So
that's right. It doesn't sound like you're on the phone with me or anything. So that's good.
That's good.
I could put a filter on you and make it sound like that, but
I mean, you do edit the show, so
I do edit the show. So
you do have the final say. Remember, with much power comes great responsibility.
Yes, sir. All right. So the deck that we are going to be using for today for the questions is called the Techie deck. I thought this might be fun. The first question I already swiped away was iPhone or Android. So that's just a dumb question for us. So, but the second question is, do you like to always have cutting edge technology?
Yes.
I think generally speaking, I would say yes. There's some stuff that kind of scares me a little bit. And I think that with
wireless charging
with Apple, I don't have a problem with wireless charging.
I know you don't.
But I think that, one thing I've learned about Apple is to always be a little weary of their first generation products. If you look at the Apple Watch, first generation was, relatively horrible compared to what they've got now, slow and janky and all that kind of stuff.
But back then they wanted the watch to be something totally different than what it is now. And they pivoted, Watch OS like 3 or 4, I think, to like fully embrace people aren't going to be using their Mac apps on their wrists. They want this for fitness tracking and health and that sort of stuff. So,
but I mean, even when you look at stuff like all HomePods are failing right now, the first generation HomePods.
Maybe that's why they don't sell them anymore.
The first generation AirPods were good, but the batteries were dying on them. They're having issues. Even the first generation AirPods Pro were having issues with, rattling in the ears. So we've talked about before, because I've had issues. I had issues with both of the AirPods Pro that I had in both ears. So, first generation products are something I think to be a little weary of, depending. So it's always good to kind of see, give them some time and see how they kind of come out in the laundry, as one would say.
Well, that makes me feel great, considering I'm rocking the first generation MacBook Air with the M1 and also the first generation AirPods Pro. So thanks, man.
It wasn't the main reason why I did it, but it was a reason why I bought the last Intel iMac. So
yeah, well, that's probably gonna be rock steady for a long time.
Yeah, no, it works. It works fine. It's not as fast as the M1 stuff, and I'd be
but that combination has been rock solid for a long time. So,
yep. All right, next question: do you own tech-related stock?
I mean, I have crypto, which is, built on technology.
I actually sold off all my stock recently. I didn't have that much. It's not like I was trying to invest. I was just having fun. But I sold it all off because I needed it for some stuff. So, which is kind of why I had it in there anyway. So my answer would be no. I do not own any tech related stock.
Yeah, no, none of my stocks are tech related, but I do have crypto. So I guess kind of, sort of.
All right. Do you think there's value in living a simpler life with less technology?
Yes, absolutely. I think so. There's a book by Cal Newport called Digital Minimalism, which I read and highly recommend. Not that you have to agree with him, but I think it is a very good book to have a conversation and debate with about the pros and cons of how we use our technology and how often we use our technology and how we kind of put barriers or boundaries around that sort of stuff. Because his whole stance is not that technology is bad. His whole stance is technology is amazing for what it allows us to accomplish more efficiently, more effectively, but it is also just a giant source of noise, all the notifications, the social, like everything. And so having his argument is that we can leverage technology to advance our work in, you know, whatever area that work is, but we also can severely hinder the rest of our lives if we don't, you know, if we're not intentional about how and where and when we use the technology that we do. Like how often are you in, like at a Starbucks or, you know, a restaurant, you know, waiting in line and everyone is just glued to their phones instead of talking to the person that they're there with.
Right.
You know, it's a very interesting book. It's a quick read. He's a really smart guy. Highly recommend it.
So I listened to somebody the other day that was talking. I'm not going to say who it is, but I was listening to someone the other day that was going off on basically conspiracy theory about all the garbage that we have in our life and all the technology and how everybody's listening to us and they're massing tons of data on us. And we're, you know, just, it seems, I don't want to believe that it's true, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. But at the same time, like you can't deny that, you know, our devices are all listening to us. But, you know, they'll all tell you that, well, we're not, you know, recording everything you say or learning everything about you. And yet they know everything about us and they're recording habits. And yeah. So
all you got to do is just think about the number of times that you have thought about something and then seen an ad for it within the next 24 hours online.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough for me to go, okay, Siri really is always listening. And Apple's supposed to be the good, private, safe company. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure that that's how they're doing that, though.
Well, it may not, but my point is like everything we do online is connected. Mm-hmm. All of our searching, all of our social accounts, our emails, are like, it is all connected and it's easy for them to triangulate. You know, he did this over here. He looked at that over there. He searched for this over there. And they're like, all right, boom, here's your next, you know, ad on YouTube.
Well, there's another element to that I've heard talked about too, is that let's say like you were really into yoga and I come over to your house and you and I spend some time talking. And after I left, you go over to your yoga studio and do your yoga. And then you come home and all of a sudden I'm being served, like stuff about yoga, because the assumption is that you and I probably had a conversation about yoga because you're really into yoga. So now they're going to start advertising to me to see if I'm interested in buying anything yoga related. So apparently that happens too. Like they use your influences and the people that you're connected with to try and advertise to you as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, do I know what's happening? Yes. Am I about to go live inside a Faraday cage? No. Like, you know, whatever.
I thought about that when I was building my studio, if I should build a Faraday cage down here. And
but then we wouldn't, well, I guess it'd have to be a wired connection.
I would have to wire into this. Yeah. So it'd be a totally separate network from the rest of the house. But we'd still have internet down here. I just wouldn't be, it would just be one wire in and one wire out.
Yeah. Connected by multiple VPNs, I'm sure.
I'm not that crazy. Were you ever at the forefront of a tech trend that people made fun of you for until it became super popular?
Google Glass, baby.
We're both Mac users. We're both Apple users.
Yeah, I was so late to the party on that, though.
You know,
was I ever on the forefront? of a technology. Say it again.
Were you ever at the forefront of a tech trend that people made fun of you for until it became super popular?
I don't know if anyone can say.
How about Facebook? I'm not big into Facebook anymore, but
well, I remember when it was called college Facebook, mm-hmm. and then they were adding schools, in batches. But I went to a tiny Christian college in Indiana, so we were one of the, later schools to gain access to it. But I remember when it first came out, but I don't remember people making fun of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only tech trend that I genuinely remember people just destroying other people for was a Google Glass.
Yeah.
And being creepy.
There is definitely stuff that I could point to, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Because I've been much maligned for things that I've been excited about technology wise. Oh, I'm wearing them right now. You make fun of me about my AirPods Max. They're still not super popular, but
dude, Mitch, they come with a bra. Like I don't. It's okay. They
all
probably
the best
sound
things
amazing.
in life come with a bra, man.
Oh my gosh. Next question.
How closely do you follow tech news? That's kind of a dumb question with us.
Yeah, but honestly, I used to follow it more closely than I do now. I used to be reading all the blogs and following lots of people on Twitter, and
I'll agree with
now I don't use Twitter at all, and I pretty much just listen to 2 or 3 tech podcasts and let them distill the information that they think is important, because they've become trusted sources over the years.
Yeah, that's pretty much
let them do all the heavy lifting, and then I know that means I miss out on stories, but I have very focused interests,
I like this next question.
Okay. You have a big grin on your face.
I do. Did you grow up jamming with records, cassettes, tapes, portable CD players, or MP3 players?
Never. I didn't have a record player until 2 years ago, but yeah, I was a mixtape cassette kid. I would sit with the radio and I would record the songs onto my cassette tapes and make mixtapes.
I totally did that.
Hours on end.
Mm-hmm. So I would say for the bulk of my childhood, it was cassette tapes. But when I was young, my sister and I had a record player that my parents would let us listen to their records on. So, and it was just like this little kid's record player. It wasn't anything fancy, but when I think when I got my first sound system or my first stereo, it was like a double cassette deck with a radio in it. It was all it was. It wasn't until probably, I don't know, I think I might have been in my late teens when I got my first CD player. So I think I was driving I think I was already driving when I got my first CD player. So I would have been late teens.
I remember my freshman year of high school, one of the kids at my church was the first person I knew that had a CD burner. I mean, bleeding edge. And that was the height of Napster, and all of that. And so we went from making cassette mixtapes to CD mixtapes. And I still have some of those CDs from 20 years ago in my collection. And we would make a mix, and then we go cruise in his 1968 VW van, seafoam green, and just jam out. It's good times. Lots of Weezer.
Yeah. So would I assume that you consume your music mainly through Apple Music now?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, me too. All right. Has technology ever let you down, and what happened?
Consistently, constantly. I think the one that fails me the most and is the most infuriating is we at church, we can control our in-ear monitor mix on the stage from our phone. we can connect to the soundboard and we can control our own bus. And so I can be like, all right, I need a little less background vocals. I need a little more of my, my bass or my guitar, yada, yada, if I'm singing or if I'm not. But my goodness, the connection that app makes to the soundboard is, you never know. Is it going to work? Is it going to take a second? Is it going to take 12 seconds? Am I going to have to open and quit the app 5 times for it to finally connect? Is it going to open and then freeze and then not let me get to my, and it's like my calm to rage ratio in that point through the roof, which is like the one point where it's like the one place I should be calm and focused on, not myself. And but it's very frustrating.
It's funny you say that, because I think probably the number one place that I run into being infuriated with my technology is church.
Mm-hmm. Satan's in the wires, man, and in the wireless too.
Yeah. It's for me, 90% of it is the live stream. Man, every so often, like, there's just gremlins in the machine. And I had one morning where I got the live stream up and everything was running just fine. And then just out of nowhere, it had to have been on YouTube's end, because my pipes were wide open and were streaming just fine. And all of a sudden it just dropped like that. And I'm sitting there and I look up, because I always have my laptop up on the top of the booth with the YouTube control board, or whatever they call it, I forget. But I always have that up there to kind of monitor and make sure that everything's running just fine. And it just shows this little spinny wheel and poor connection or no connection or something like that. And I'm like, Ugh. And of course, like, how do you handle that with all the people that are watching? You really can't. So I switched over to a different stream and I was like, I just hope they find it. I took down the old stream and put the new stream up, and it worked. People were able to watch it, but I don't know if I brought everybody with me, but
it's frustrating. For sure.
So, all right. Did you ever own a pager?
No, but my dad did, and his was awesome.
I've owned 2 of them. I
could check the weather, the sports scores.
Oh, mine
lots of other stuff I didn't care about, but like that was like, oh, Dad, let me see your pager. I'm gonna check the sports scores.
Mine didn't do anything. It's like by the time we got to that point with pagers, I had something else that would do it. But I only had pagers because, like, dude, my buddy wants to get a hold of me, so I need to be available whenever. So wherever I am, I want to be able to be reachable. That was my first foray into
it's the beginning of the end right there.
The idea of always being connected.
Uh-huh. What a novel idea. Hey, I'm going to wear this thing on my belt. You're going to page me. It'll tell me what number to call. And I got to go find a phone and call you back.
Oh, and we had our codes too. So like if you could page somebody and then put like whatever, you could put a callback number on there, but you could also put other things on there, and you could like put in small messages or whatever. And so like if you saw the number and they put in a message like 911, it's like, okay, you got to call them right away. Or if it was just like, hey, just page me with this so that I know you're here, or whatever. It was just funny. Because you could like just put like little secret messages on there to know, what they needed or whatever. Or just page me when you get home so I know you're home, or, not that I did that a lot, but I could see that being used. So
funny little guys.
How smart is your car?
I can connect via USB or Bluetooth. And I can play my music or my podcasts or whatever. It doesn't have Android or CarPlay.
I got CarPlay. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, yours is smarter than mine. But I get Bluetooth or USB audio, which is pretty much all I want. I've got my car's got built-in navigation as well, but I use my phone anyways for that. So
I think this question is going to possibly be more for you than for me, but have you ever had to learn a new technology for work to not become obsolete?
yes, I had to learn the entire Microsoft Power Platform stack. So that's like Microsoft Automate, Power BI, and Power Apps. And Power Apps is like a WYSIWYG app builder built on a more complex version of Excel's language.
Mm-hmm.
And then Power BI is data analytics views, and then Automate is like their version of like shortcuts or AppleScript or that sort of. You kick off automations and it can do a bunch of things for you. And so I got hired to do that stuff without knowing how to do it because they're like, "You're smart, you'll learn." Okay, so I had to learn, and here we are.
I had to learn how to use Android.
Oh, is that what you guys use at work?
Our first phones are our phones that we use are built on Android.
Gotcha.
Which whatever. It's not that bad. It's slow and janky, but that's about the biggest problem I have with it. So there's just different apps. Like they just released a new app for us called Store Pulse that we have to use to like be able to see our sales and daily sales and do like our store walks with. So it's just learning little things like that, but nothing ever nothing that would make me obsolete or have that kind of bearing on my job. So what's a great app that you think more people should be using?
It's a great app that I think Obsidian.
Yeah.
100%. Like especially people in the realms of academia or pastors at churches. I think that this is an app that an overwhelming majority of them don't know about. And whether it's Obsidian or Rome Research, right? Like it doesn't matter the tool, but the framework and the implementation of this idea of having all of your data and notes and papers and all that stuff in a place so that you can connect them and see trends and all of that, I think is highly valuable. I use that every week that I lead Bible study, and you can have multiple panes up. So I've got all my passages up. I've got my initial thoughts. I've got the outline. I've got the research that I've done all on one giant screen. And it's amazing to be able to have everything that I need to work with on the screen, plus a book or two. And I can just, it's a full on dashboard for creating, the outline for that week's Bible study. So I think it's incredibly powerful for people that are in, areas of knowledge work. And I think a lot of people in the church, especially pastors, are not necessarily up on what their options are because they've been using Logos for 20 years. You know what I mean? Which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But I think that this is a tool that can help people improve their preparation for what they're going to wind up delivering. So that's my vote.
Yeah, I may need something like that someday, but certainly not right now. Let me take a look at my iPhone here real quick and see if there's something that jumps out at me. There is a new app that I started using recently that I was going to talk about a bit later.
Angry Birds?
No.
It'll change your life, man.
Right. Man, I just think I don't know that I'm going to pick a specific app, but I will tell you that I think everybody needs a good to-do list manager or a task manager of some sort. Because I think that the specifically like just being able to get that stuff off your brain and into a system, like it makes your can make your day so much easier and less overwhelming. I know that the only times I get terribly overwhelmed with anything right now is when I don't have something in my list or I don't have things organized like that. So a lot of times when I get to work, if I don't have a lot going on that day, it's just like do your brain dump into your trusted system to figure out, okay, what is everything that I can work on today? And then from there, you can go through that list and figure it out. You and I have talked before. I'm very granular about what I put into my list.
Yes, much more so than I am.
I have a reminder every other day to make sure that I don't forget to take a shower, which sounds silly. And I think some people might find that really weird, but it really helps me out to say, hey, I've gotten really busy before and just not thought of it. And so oh yeah, that's right. I better make sure that I make that a priority today. And then there's other times, especially in the summer, that your body kind of reminds you need a shower. So, but I think that there's value to having those reminders in there, and being able to check off, hey, I did that, boom, done. And having little, notifications to let me know, hey, by the way, you were going to do this right now. And it's like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I gotta go get that done. That kind of stuff. So, and I use them all at work all the time. Some of the stuff that I do at work has huge multi-step process to be able to get to the end product or the end goal of what you're doing. So having a list that has all the steps in it, even if I don't use them every time, I can stand back and say to myself, okay, wait a minute. So did I get this done? Did I get that done? Did I get that? Okay. Yes, I did that. Yes, I did. Oh, that's right. Okay. I've got these two things I got to get done before we can move forward with this. So, just having that list, having that all available to me is huge. So,
well, and there's the added benefit too, that oftentimes when you feel like you have a lot to do and it's all rattling around in your head, you can feel overwhelmed or anxious about, oh my gosh, there's not enough time. How am I going to do this? And then by writing it out, you'll either see that A, it's not nearly as much as you thought it was, which is a total boost of confidence, or two, holy crap, it really is as much as you thought it was. And then you can buckle down and start prioritizing. But once it's out of your head, then you have something tangible to work with, and it's no longer abstract. It's like, okay, this is what's got to happen. Now I got to either, I can take it easy because it's not as much, or time to buckle up and get some work done, but you have something to work from and to cross off. Right. Yeah. So it frees up a lot of mental capacity.
And I think just it gives you peace knowing that there's a plan.
Exactly. Exactly.
I have this, here's the order stuff I'm going to get done. Now I just got to get moving. So, all right. What modern technology could you not live without?
Could I not live without?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think there's a single thing. We have lived millennia without any of the technology that exists today. There's certainly some that I would not want to live without, but could not. They're not a single thing that, you need food, shelter, and clothes to live. That's all you need. And hopefully, one or few other people to be friends with, right? But that's all we need to live. So I know that's sounds like a pious answer, but genuinely, I spent most of my life not even knowing what the internet was until I was in high school, and I was totally fine without the internet.
Well, let's flip the question real quick and say that there is one piece of technology that you can keep and you have to give the rest of it up.
I mean, I would keep the internet because that's got everything else on it.
let's assume for a second that the internet is not a part of this question. Let's say one gadget or one piece of technology that you can keep, but you have to give the rest of it away.
I'd probably keep my laptop.
Okay. I would have a lot of difficulty giving up my iPhone. just because like this I can do just about everything with. And the versatility of this device is huge for me. I totally agree that, you know, it'd be hard to give up a computer or like, you know, your laptop or a desktop or even TV for that matter. But this can do most of that. You know, there's still stuff you can't, but without this, it's like, I don't know that anything else really would be as good. So
I still keep my laptop, I think.
Okay. So what do you think when you hear the word technology? I don't know if I like this question or not. This is either a really good question or a really terrible question.
What do I think? I think about technology. Like,
so we're going to go with this as a really terrible question. All right, moving on. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable. I have certain words that just don't roll off the tongue. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Do you agree, and why or why not?
No, because magic is fake.
Right. You can explain technology, even if it's super advanced technology, it can be explained to a certain degree. Okay. I don't understand how they get billions of transistors on a chip that's like tiny, but I trust that there's some way that they do that. It's not magic.
Yeah, no, well, you can explain magic too, because again, it's not real. It's illusions, Michael.
Right. Were you in AV club in high school?
We didn't have one. I was in chess club though.
I'll say I was not. Actually, to be honest with you, wasn't really that big a geek in school. I was a band geek. So, but I think I did have a computer programming class in high school where we oddly enough programmed BASIC on Macs, which I didn't realize until much later that I actually learned how to use a computer on a Mac. And then later on, when I got my first computer, it was a Windows machine. So I didn't think that, oh yeah, I actually started on the Mac. I was in computer club in elementary school though. Overall, do computers save you time or waste more of your time?
Are we considering the iPhone a computer for the sake of this question? I know that it is one, but are we going to consider it one for this question?
Let's consider it. Yeah.
Oh, then I waste more time.
I think I probably would have to agree with you that I waste more time, but there are so many things I can think of that save me time.
Well, yeah, and I guess it's what we consider wasting time, like the amount of Sudoku or, you know, like solitaire that I play on the phone, like to kill time. Like that's a conscious choice. I could be watching TV. I could be reading a book. I could be, you know, doing the dishes, but I'm like, I'm going to play Sudoku for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, whether that's wasting time or not, I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't be doing it if I didn't have the iPhone there. Yeah. Whispering, you know, come play my games.
All right.
Like Sirens of the Sea.
I'm interested to see what you have to say about this. When you get a new tech toy, do you read the instructions or you just figure it out?
Oh, I read the instructions.
I definitely think it depends on the device, but
yeah, like if I get when I got my new iPhone, I didn't read the instructions. I've had these, but like, you know, whenever I get like a new microphone, or like when I got the Rodecaster Pro, you better believe I read through every single, because like this is my podcast production machine now. I need to know everything that it can and can't do, and then every time there's a firmware update, I read through all the release notes because I want to know what I can and can't do with it. But yeah, I tend to break the mold for the male stereotype with the instructions. I always read them.
And I do too. You know, I tend to, matter of fact, the more excited I am about a new thing that I'm getting, I will tend to actually download the instruction manual online and sit and read it before I even get the device.
Uh-huh.
I did that with my new soundboard. I was like, oh, I'm actually really excited about getting this. And it was like I had to wait 2 days to get it. But by the time those 2 days were done, I had read the whole instruction manual and the quick start guide. So
yeah, I did that. So I've been researching reverb pedals for my guitar, which is one of the reasons I came out to the city.
Yeah.
To go to the Chicago Music Exchange, which is an incredible store. But I did a bunch of research on 2 specific pedals, not only just on how they sound and like how they work and what all the different knobs do and all the unique features, so that when I got to the store, I was able to sit down with these pedals that I'd never seen in person and know what everything did. So I knew what I wanted to test and hear them. And I was able to click through all the different presets and change the knobs I wanted to change. And it was like a very, very, very much more beneficial 30 minutes of playing with these 2 pedals than sitting there going, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds pretty, but I don't know how to change anything, and so I was able to make it an informed decision, both based on the research and reading the instructions for each pedal, and then also trying them out. And I also got to play really nice guitar. So
I saw your pictures. Can you see what that says?
Mac or PC?
That's the next question. Linux. Come on, Max. Really?
Yeah, I know.
Do you think AI will eventually become sentient?
I sure hope not. I mean, I'll be dead and gone by the time it happens, but I sure hope not.
So this is where I'm going to allow my my knowledge of the Bible to inform this. We talk about a lot of this stuff, but God destroyed God judged the people when they built a tower to try and reach the heavens. I don't think that God's going to allow us to create artificial life. So I'm going to say no. I don't think the AI will become sentient. Because I think if it gets to that point, I don't think that God would ever allow that.
Only one way to find out. Not really. We should just stop now.
Please
go ahead. We should just stop.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
How old were you when you got your first smartphone?
I was 23 or 24.
Shoot. No, I got to do math.
It's like 2009, 2010. So yeah, I was 23 or 24. It was a Moto Droid X Global or something like that. It was an garbage Android phone, not because Android is garbage now, but because it was 11 years ago. It was awful.
It's kind of garbage now too.
It's come remarkably far. There's certain things that it has done better than iOS for years. So we gotta be as unbiased as we can, Mitch. Come on.
Mm-hmm. What year did the iPhone 4S come out?
Oh gosh. I have no idea. I'm not an Apple historian.
I want to say that was about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago. So that would put me in my mid 30s, maybe 34, 35. I did own a couple of Palm Pilots before that.
For all of your business needs.
No.
Here, let me fax you that invoice.
But there was a Samsung one that I had in there too. I think I had owned a couple of Palm Pilots, and then there's like the Samsung Clie or something like that they came out with. That I had that. That's what I had right before I got my iPhone. Actually, I take that back. I had a couple of iPod Touches before that in between. So I think I had the original iPod Touch, and then I got like the 3rd generation or 4th generation iPod Touch. So
iPod Touch. They still make those, don't they? But they haven't been updated in like a long time.
You know what? I don't know if they do. Huh. Okay. Now we got to look. Apple.com. See if they make the iPod Touch anymore. Oh, the Apple shopping event is on. Woo!
This just in. Things are still really expensive.
Well, the iPod is definitely not listed on the front page.
Well, you're going to have to search for it, I think.
iPod Touch. Fun at full speed, starting at $199.
It's still $200.
Still $200.
Are you kidding me?
I'm looking.
I need all the specs right now.
All right.
What chip is inside it? Like the A9?
Let's find out.
This is a fun rabbit hole.
It is available starting at 32 gigs at $199.
That's a crime.
The A10 Fusion
Oh my gosh.
is what's in it. It's got an 8 megapixel camera with autofocus. I like how they call out autofocus on there. Video recording 1080p, 25, 30, and 60 frames per second. Cinematic video stabilization.
$199. What a joke.
Got a home button. Hey, it's got a headphone jack. You can't say that about the.
Well, and I guarantee you there's no Face ID or Touch ID.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, there definitely isn't.
But a headphone jack, there you go.
It comes in space gray, gold, silver, pink, blue, and product red.
There you go.
That pink is like the obnoxious kind of pink too. Like the really bright, hot pink.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
That doesn't seem like a Johnny Ive creation.
There's something I didn't know before today.
4-inch screen. So definitely on the smaller side.
And then
hey, you know what?
Wi-Fi only, right?
Yeah. No cellular. Still comes with Apple EarPods.
This just has to be all old stock. There's no way they're still producing these, right?
I don't know, man. Should we spec one out and see how much we can make it?
Yes, I want to know what the most expensive. Absolutely. I must know this. This is vital information.
We are ordering a hot pink version. 256 gigs.
Oh, boy.
Should we add engraving? It's free.
Well, that doesn't change the price. Put a poop emoji on there.
No.
Or just like $4 signs.
Oh, where's the poop emoji? There it is. All right. Save. So we got a poop emoji on there. It delivers December 21st through the 29th.
That makes me think this is not old stock then.
Mm.
Why does it take a month? No one's buying these.
Oh,
it must be getting shipped from China then.
I beg to differ. I'm about to order a hot pink version.
How much money does this cost, Mitch? What's the highest price?
We are at $399.
You have got to be kidding me. $399.
We didn't add Apple Care Plus.
Oh yeah, we need that for sure.
$59 for Apple Care.
So that puts us at what, $458?
Add to bag. Review bag. With tax. Now understand this is tax for excuse me, tax for our area here at 5.5%.
Oh, you jerk.
$488.92. Hey, shipping's free, man.
They have to be shipping from China. That's why it's going to take so long.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're shipping from China, but like they must be stored over there too.
$488.92.
That's a crime. That's not okay.
Where did the engraving go? I was going to get a screenshot of this.
You can get a brand new iPad mini for less than that. With probably more storage. This was a very unexpected twist, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, as I did. I'm going to send this to you right away too. All right, do you want to tell me what's delighting you today?
What's delighting me today?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling it's about to be what you just sent me. It's a little
tiny poop.
It's a little poop emoji. It's a little baby poop.
Well, I'll put this on the chapter art for at least this chapter, if not for the episode.
Yeah, let's see what's delighting me. I've been getting a lot more, back into guitar. I've primarily been playing bass for the last few years at church, and I don't necessarily enjoy practicing by myself as much as I like playing music with other people. It's much more entertaining, much more enjoyable. But I have recently gotten kind of reinvigorated with guitar and learning new things about it and experimenting with new sounds and new styles. And so, like the other day on Wednesday, I sat and played guitar at through my amp really loudly and just tried to experiment with new things. And I think I was there for probably 2 hours and just trying out new things and trying to, hone in new sounds and like experimental, like soundscape stuff. And it's just, there's like a new frontier with, instead of just like chunking out chords or like learning cool solos or like, whatever, it's like, oh no, there's this whole other realm of like sound design and how to like build atmospheres. And like a lot of times I think of that as like keyboards and synthesizers, but like through a lot of, the more modern pedals and stuff, like you can do some pretty cool stuff with the guitar in that same realm, that when paired with someone playing a synth, you can do some really awesome layering and it just kind of building an atmosphere and a soundscape. And so I'm trying to dive really headlong into that and experiment and gain knowledge and see how that can be incorporated into our worship, but also just my own personal projects. So yeah, that's currently what I think is eating up a lot of my energy and thoughts and creative energy. So it's been fun. Plus, turns out I still like playing guitar. Who knew? So it's it's been good, and I'm excited to see if anything cool comes out of it. What about you?
So I have a thing that kind of, I don't want to say that it's a ADD thing or an ADHD thing or anything like that. But it is but this app is kind of, they advertise towards people like that. But I really find it difficult to just read stuff. So I usually prefer listening to stuff. And I discovered an app through an advertisement that I saw on Instagram called yeah. Like I don't, well, yeah. Anyway, but it's called Speechify.
Okay.
Have you seen this app at all? So there are several different ways that you can get text into this app, but I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of washing out on the thing, but you just import your text into this, whether it's a document. I think it'll do PDFs. It'll do docx format. You can actually take pictures and it'll do OCR to whatever it is. So that's how they show you using it, or you can take pictures of a page and it'll read it to you. But it basically goes through and it reads all the text to you. So I have to do a bunch of this reading for our license. So, I thought, well, this might be an interesting app to try using for it. And I discovered something. I want to know if you recognize the voice that's on this app.
Was granted remain but no longer than 2 years from the date on which the exception, promoting the welfare of children placed in the homes. To establish a fair hearing procedure for foster parents, to establish require, is granted or the date the license terminates, whichever occurs. Ments for certification of a foster home with a level of care in. First, by which time the licensing agency shall determine if there is continued
this is annoying.
exception.
I can't place it.
Oh, your audio just got weird. Is that on my end? Oh, it was on my end. Never mind. That's Gwyneth Paltrow.
What?
It seems really random that that her voice is in this app, but it does have a bunch of other voices in here. There is one that's just titled British Male Narrator. And then they have a bunch of different voices for American, British, Australian. I know you'd dig the Australian.
Darn tootin'.
Yeah, and then they have Spanish voices, French, Japanese, German. And so I mean,
will it translate or just read them in English with a accent?
I haven't tried it. So I could try it. Hold on. Let's see. Japanese would be fun, wouldn't it?
Oh boy, here we go.
Where did that go?
I can't imagine getting Gwyneth Paltrow's voice was cheap.
No. So there is a pay structure that I want to talk about here real quick too, but let's try this here real quick.
Exception. In addition, the license requirement.
Yeah, I assume it's translating. I don't know Japanese, so.
Strengths and to establish criteria for making supplement.
You know, what I think it's doing is it's not translating. What it's doing is it's trying to read English in Japanese, because I could understand like the words he was using words, but
okay, go to Spanish or French. That'll help me out because I know enough of those to know if it's real or not.
They want to do Mexican Spanish or
yeah, that way we don't get any lisps.
All right.
Exceptional pay. Being agency may impose conditions.
Oh yeah, that's
specified.
It's English. So no, it's not translating.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so when you download the app, it asks you to sign up for a trial. So like a 7-day trial, and then it's $139 a year after that. So if you sign, here's what I'm going to recommend to all the listeners, and hopefully they don't hear this because I don't want them to change this. But apparently they've run a whole bunch of deals, and there must be something in the App Store that says that you have to keep these deals active in the subscriptions tab. And so you can go into the subscriptions tab, you can cancel the subscription and then sign up for it for $29 a year. Inside the subscription app. So they charged me $31.64 or whatever for a year of this service. So instead of $139.
Yeah, that's much more reasonable.
Yeah. All right, so that's Speechify. I can throw a link in the show notes for you guys so that you can check that out. So, but yeah, I think this is it has a web service as well, so you can do this all on the web. There's
that's nice.
iPhone, iPad apps for this, so it's pretty cool. Yep. Bookmark is I'm sorry, not a bookmark. Will be in the show notes for the episode, so you can check it out.
Sweet.
But that's all I got for today, man. Kind of a fun episode for us today. So get you out so that you can get packed and you're checking out today.
Yeah. Gonna go check out a few more spots and then head back home and watch the Michigan-Ohio State game and finish up some of these wedding videos that I shot. So busy, but I'll either be very excited tonight or customarily disappointed based on how that game goes.
I didn't text you after the Michigan State game, but yeah, it didn't do so good.
Choke job, dude. Absolute choke job. We were up 16 points in the third quarter and gave up 19 straight, including 2 2-point conversions. But hey, whatever.
Mhm.
If we win today, we go to the Big Ten championship game.
All right. Well, good luck.
Yeah, we're not going to win, but always hopeful.
All right. Well, if you want to check out more about us and get links to the show and various podcast apps, you can check us out at innerdialogue.show. And I'm going to do something a little different today because normally we talk about the Twitter accounts or whatever, but I updated my website and I have a new fancy URL for my website. It is mitchcraig.online. And you can check out the website. I've simplified it down, made it a little bit nicer, and I think we'll do a little bit of blogging up there and stuff like that. But there are links to my Twitter, Instagram, YouTube up there as well. And I'm assuming at cambrennan.com we also have links to your socials.
Yes.
Okay. So you can find us there as well. So if you have questions, comments, need anything from us, I do have my Twitter account at innerdialogue.show as well. So you can send me questions if you have any. So, and check out my website. I sent this to Cam. I was searching for a new domain name for my podcast, or I'm sorry, not my podcast, for my website. And I was going through just looking at all these different extensions that I could. Of course, I'm still bitter that I can't get mitchcraig.com. So don't even go to his site. He doesn't deserve your clicks. But I ran across one that I sent to Cam. It was mitchcraig.sucks. And I'm telling you, if it would have been $10, I would have snapped that up totally as just an extra domain name and aimed it at my website. But because I wouldn't have used that for the main one. But yeah, it was $329 for a
look at that's capitalism at its best. Taking people's pettiness and bitterness and turning it into an expensive website domain. That's genius.
Yeah, $329 for mitchcraig.sucks. So if there's
how much you got to hate someone to buy that domain?
So if there's anybody in the audience that would like to buy that for me, I would love it. Merry Christmas to Mitch.
Oh man, I forgot you sent that. That makes me chuckle.
Yeah, made me laugh pretty hard. I liked it, and at the same time hurt my soul a little bit because I couldn't afford $329 a year to own it. So
it's a bit excessive.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's been fun. You enjoy the little bit of time you got left in Chicago, and I hope your Michigan football team does well. So
we shall see. Thank you, sir. You have a lovely weekend. Take care then.
Goodbye, sir.
Bye.